103. The following is an independently produced and sponsored program. The views expressed are those solely of the host, their guests, and participants. Management of ZSR 103.5 FM have no involvement in the preparation and content of this program. For clarification of any information related to this program, contact the host. At the invitation of the host, you may call in to participate by telephoning 698-7753. That's 698-7753. We trust you enjoy.
Doop 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 doop-a-vel, 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 doop doop.
As I wander through this world, nothing can stop Doop-a-vel. And you are my girl. No one can hurt you. No, cause
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Nassau. Good morning, Hubert, the noodles at the Crab Shack. Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, my cousin Rex. You are with Plain Truth Speaking. This is Monday, the 8th of February. It is a wonderful day in 2016. And you are with Plain Truth Speaking, the EarlThePearl Show. I'm joined at the round table by Freddie B. and Tanya B. Listen to us on www.theearlthepearlshow.com. Like us on Facebook, Earl the Pearl Show. And we're going to have a wonderful morning, a wonderful round table topic. We're going to go deep into what Tennyson Wells is describing as the last of the days of Uncle Tommy in the Free National Movement. My Lord, my Lord. But before we get to Mr. Wells and the Uncle Toms in the FNM, my Lord, my Lord. Tanya is going to bring us before the throne of grace.
Bless us, Tanya.
The scripture reading is taken from Hebrews 4, verse 12. The word of God is living and active. It is sharper than any sword that has two edges. It cuts deep enough to separate soul from spirit. It can separate joints from bones. It judges the thoughts and purposes of the heart.
I would particularly commend that scriptural reading to the men and women of the Free National Movement this morning who must be reeling in anger, reeling in shock, disgusted, sick to their stomachs over this new attack on their organization, another attack on a sitting member of parliament who represents an FNM constituency. And believe it or not, folks, the FNM is rolling out the R word. They're rolling out the racist word. The Free National Movement is playing the race card. This is just incredible. Last week, they were playing the jealous card. Last week, they were playing the disorganized, disoriented, don't know their ass from their elbow card. And you wake up this morning just when you thought, after Super Bowl week, these guys would have gotten it together. They roll out the race card. And who do you think is out front fanning the race hate bait in the Free National Movement? From what it appears in the newspapers this morning, Tennyson Roscoe Gabriel Wells, the man who would be leader of the FNM, who was soundly defeated in a leadership election some 15 years ago when he sought to lead the FNM. He was defeated by Owe Tommy Turnquest. This is history. Mr. Wells has had a very disjointed relationship with the FNM under the leadership of the Right Honourable Hubert Ingram. And Mr. Wells has returned to the bosom of his old organization, and he is backing, fanning, supporting the leadership, tenure, and posture of Dr. Hubert Minnis. In the midst of this major debacle, where Loretta Butler Turner appears to be the perennial contender for the leadership. The party seems to be fractured and fissured so badly that it is impossible of healing. Incapable of healing, the FNM rolls out the race card. Now, you have to appreciate the history of the FNM to understand why the FNM rolling out the race card, it should raise alarms everywhere.
And eyebrows.
After the 1968 general election, when the United Bahamian Party, the white oligarchy, which had run the Bahamas through its surrogates, eventually becoming a political entity after the PLP was formed in '56, the UBP decided to disband. The UBP held a conference at the Garfunkel Auditorium, and its leaders that were left standing after the '68 general election, leaders like Jeffrey Dinwiddie Johnstone, Basil Kelly, Sir Roland Simonet, they decided that the political reality was such that in the face of majority rule, what the UBP represented as this all-white oligarchy could no longer be currency that could be bought in the Bahamas. It was spent goods. It ought to be consigned to the trash bin of history. And UBP took a conscientious decision that they ought to disband and find new political life. They needed to redress who they were. They needed to rebrand who they were. While this was going on one parallel, there was the ruckus that was beginning to take shape in the Progressive Liberal Party. And we all know the history. By 1971, Mr. Cecil Wallace Whitfield, who had served as national chairman of the PLP, at the PLP's victory leading the country into majority rule on January 10, 1967, Mr. Wallace Whitfield and a group of 7 other sitting members of parliament, which became known as the Dissident Eight, left the PLP after taking a vote of no confidence in Sir Lyndon Pinling, which they lost, and they formed an entity known as the Free PLP. The Free PLP went on to contest a by-election in the Mangrove Key constituency at the death of Clarence Bain. The Free PLP's candidate was Roston Miller. The UBP, still trying to find its way, nominated the late Norman Ironer, and the PLP ruled with Darrell Erlin Roll. The PLP won the by-election. The Free PLP came in a distant third, and the UBP was right on the heels of the was behind in second place. The Free PLP, the black men of the Free PLP, who had fought hook, line, and sinker, used every bit of their metal, their brass, their muscle, and their intellectual skill to bring the PLP to power, to end 300 years of quote-unquote UBP rule, began talks with the UBP. This is how the Free National Movement was born. The Free National Movement became a coalition of the UBP and the Free PLP. And by the time the country got into the general election of 1972, the Free National Movement, led by Cecil Wallace Whitfield, was running the former candidates of the UBP in the general election as FNM candidates, and former PLPs, now known as Free PLPs, were also under the banner of the Free National Movement. And so the FNM was born in the fallopian tubes of the UBP. It cannot now deny its mother or its father. It cannot now try to dispel the afterbite when it has been around for up to 10 years. And now overnight, because there's a fraction in the organization which appears not to support Dr. Minnis, you want to call them racist.
Racist.
You suddenly just remember now that there's a part of
interest.
your entity which is racist, but you knew who you were when you got in bed with the UBP.
From the foundation.
You knew who you were when you contested every general election against Lyndon Pinland, and you said the PLP was waving the racist flag at you. The FNM spent 20-some odd years defending what they call the integrity of the UBP and dismissing any racist allegation or claim that the PLP threw at the FNM. And so we wake up on February 8, 2016, and see Tennyson Wells, who hails from Long Island. And it's an interesting story about Tennyson Wells, because you have to also bear in mind that there was a split in the FNM going into the 1977 general election. And the same Tennyson Wells was instrumental in the argument which brought about that split, which created another entity in the opposition called the Bahamian Democratic Party, which the UBP element in the FNM abandoned the FNM for the 77 election and went into the entity called the Bahamian Democratic Party. Now, any student, any first-year student of Bahamian political history would have these facts, these are easily verifiable facts. What is shocking here is that in 2016, in our Bahamas, where we are trying to build a multicultural society, where we are attempting to bridge the gap and to get beyond the old race rows, to bring peace and stability, to involve all Bahamians of any class, of any color, of any religion, in all the processes of the country. The FNM, the alternative government, they are waving the flag of racism. And it's very sad to see certain FNMs being described as Uncle Toms. Now, what is an Uncle Tom? What is an Uncle Tom?
Well, looking at here, I don't too much go for Wikipedia, but Wikipedia said, particularly a black person who behaves in a subservient manner to white people, or a person perceived to be complicit
a black
in the
man,
opposition
a black
of their
man
own
who was
group.
on his knees.
Yes.
A black man who was on his knees begging
Yes.
Massa to please let him stand up.
Yes.
I know the FNM, and I reject unanimously across the board this allegation and this assertion by Mr. Tennyson Wells that they are Uncle Toms in the FNM. These are brave and courageous men.
Yeah, but
These are men and women. These are men and women who went toe to toe in the heat of political battle. And it is unfair just because Dr. Minnis is embattled, just because Dr. Minnis has his foot in the trap, that all of a sudden, because one faction now decides. So, but back up a second. There's a very distinguished white gentleman on the Eastern Road who's run a very distinguished business for years. A very distinguished white gentleman who put this country on the map many years ago at the Olympic Games. I'm talking about Sir David Knowles. And there's nobody in this country, black, white, green, blue, whatever color, who doesn't respect Sir David Knowles. Nobody in the Bahamas thinks David Knowles is a racist. Nobody in the Bahamas would ever imagine or even attempt to put that type of paintbrush on David Knowles. And David Knowles doesn't hide the fact that he's an FNM. There are wonderful pictures of David Knowles going to the polls to vote in the last general election, decked down in his FNM paraphernalia, and he is on the arms of Obi Pinland, the leader, the son of the former leader of the PLP, who was dressed in his gold regalia. And this is the type of Bahamas we're trying to build. This is the type of Bahamas that Algernon Allen spoke about when he talked about one Bahamas. And this nonsense the FNM is kicking out today about who's racist and who's Uncle Tom ought to be consigned to the trash bin of history. Once again, the FNM is demonstrating across the board that they are unfit to govern. Where have they found these picky-teeth Matobis who come from nowhere out of the boondocks talking nonsense?
Well, Urban Dictionary actually gives them more.
I don't like the Urban Dictionary.
I love it because it I wouldn't want to say it down everything, but it surely gives you a clear and open-minded description of what things are. So it says Uncle Tom is a black man who will do anything to stay in good standing with, and I quote, the white man, including betray his own people.
Tanya Brown, I know Hubert Ingram. Hubert Ingram is no Uncle Tom. I know Maurice Moore. Maurice Moore is no Uncle Tom. I know Arthur Folks. Arthur Folks is no Uncle Tom. I know Dion Folks. Dion Folks is no Uncle Tom. It is unfair for the organization to wake up this morning and have to live with this new reality, this new political row, that young people in the country are now being told that their organization is packed with Uncle Toms.
According to Mr. Wells, this was going on for the past 40 years, he added. Uncle Tom's and the white interest was leading the F&M for the past 40 years. 40 years. I think just speaking out about
as good as I know the F&M, as well as I know the F&M, I do not pretend or attempt to claim to know the F&M better than Mr. Wells. Mr. Wells does know the F&M better than I do. He may know some things that I do not know, but I say this much: the men and women in the F&M who I know, Chairman Bostwick is no Uncle Tom. Henry Bostwick is no Uncle Tom. These people are not Uncle Toms, and that is unfair. Len Holowesco is a decent, fine, outstanding Bahamian citizen, a fantastic participant in our political process.
Not according to
who did a formidable job as president of the Senate.
They're all Uncle
And
Toms.
it is unfair to say that white interests in the F&M ought to know their place, or to sit small and let one faction who was incapable of uniting the organization bring out the best in it, and that is way wrong. That is unfair, and this is if this is where the F&M is going this morning. If we out of the month of January and we're almost out of the month of February, and this is and we're in the season of Lent.
They're divided.
And a senior F&M like Tennyson Wells, the only recourse he has to stop the juggernaut that obviously must be building against Dr. Minnis is to classify people in his organization as Uncle Toms. To tell a faction of the mother of the organization, the father of their organization, the United Bahamian Party, the white faction which led the Bahamas for 300 years, which the FNM was born out of. It is a coalition of the Free PLP and the UBP. They cannot deny their parentage. They cannot deny who they are. But it's unfair to say to me that I know Mike Lightman. I have met and had occasion to be in the company of Richard Lightman. I do not believe Richard Lightman is a racist. I watched Mike Lightman, his brother, perform in the House of Assembly when he sat as a member of parliament for Marsh Harbour and when he sat as a member of parliament for Clarence Town. I watched Mike Lightman engage in some of the most heated debates with the PLP. And at no time ever in the most heated debates that Mike Lightman led in the House of Assembly against the PLP did anyone ever allege that Mike Lightman was a racist. Mm-hmm. I had occasion to find out some wonderful history about Mike Lightman's mother, a wonderful woman who lived the last parts of her life in the United Kingdom and who was a wonderful, wonderful political force on the ground in the Social Democratic Party. I do not believe Richard Lightman is a racist. It is wrong. It is wrong, and Mr. Wells ought to apologize. You ought to apologize to the nation. You ought to apologize to the F&M. And the F&M needs to come clean this morning. They need to bare their soul to the country. They need to tell us what is going on. They need to... Just last week, these people met. They met last week and they said, listen, we're going to stop airing our dirty linen in the public. We're going to let this thing go to rest. This thing that we're doing is not helping us. We're not able to get our message out to the country. We're not able to deal as an alternative government and confront the government on the issues of the day. We are so busy talking about who's jealous. We're so busy talking about who got charisma and who ain't got charisma. We're so busy now this morning talking who's Uncle Tom and who's racist. What do you want the voters to do? What do you want the Bahamian people to do?
Split it, divide it. That's what they want the Bahamian people to do.
This, Freddie. I mean, it's bad.
It's terrible that the F&M they're destroying themselves. they're destroying themselves.
Why, Tanya? If you had to advise Dr. Minnis this morning as to what press statement he ought to issue to the Bahamian people this morning in the face of this stinging criticism as to the character and the makeup and the mindset and the ideology of his organization, what would you say to Dr. Minnis?
You know, I would say generally that you could take the horse to the well, but you can't make him drink. So unfortunately, that whatever I had to say would be null and void.
You saying Dr. Minnis is it being good advice?
He's hot-headed?
I don't know what the man is. I just wouldn't waste my time and breath and good energy.
Talking to him.
Right.
Because he didn't have no charisma?
I mean, hey, his wife told him that he did. He got 40 years in bed.
With charisma.
With charisma.
So sad.
This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is 2016. Almost 40 years after the FNM was formed. Someone who was involved in the infant years of the FNM wakes up in 2016. Rep 1 wrinkle of the FNM. Tennyson Wells has woken up and just
now realize
he's surrounded by Uncle Toms.
Now realize
he's surrounded by racists.
Oh, I'm up.
And he's surrounded by white-moneyed interests who've tried to control the organization for years.
It's ridiculous.
This is an untenable bill of goods.
I object.
FNMs everywhere ought to be hanging their heads in shame. They ought to be. They ought to be on. I don't know, but of course it's Lent, and they have to take a step back. The country is not going to allow this politics to go on as a part of a national debate in the midst of the most holiest of our Christian calendar seasons. And we would hope that by the time we get to the resurrection of our Lord, that the FNM would have resurrected. They'd have turned this debacle around.
I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're that
So
good.
do you foresee all of this turmoil walking us into the 2017 election?
Yeah. Yes. Unless they go to convention soon, immediately. They must go to convention
The convention
immediately.
where they cannot vote?
Well, that's ridiculous. They must go to convention immediately, have an election, and if the party wants to go with Dr. Minnis, they need to wrap around their leader and move forward. But with this fighting, no.
But based on
Must go to convention.
based on these allegations that are being thrown around this morning, even if they had a convention where you could vote, it appears as if they don't want the white Bahamian to vote. They don't want the moneyed Bahamian who's in their organization to vote. They only want people who support Dr. Minnis to vote. But you know what is what is most disgraceful about this attack on Richard Lightman, and what is even more disgraceful on these senior people in the FNM and the road they're taking? They're cowards, you know. They're a bunch of picky-teeth matobis. They dare not raise a finger at Brent Simonet.
Dare not.
They dare not touch the prince of the UBP.
Dare not.
Brent Simonet's father lorded over an era which we need not describe, because every student of Bahamian history knows of that era.
Amen.
But not one of these FNMs who are pointing fingers this morning, who want to beat up on Richard Lightman, they don't have the courage, they ain't got the balls, they don't have the courage.
Capacity?
Nothing. They would even whisper Brent Simonet's name. And so they are disingenuous. They're a bunch of cowards. They're a bunch of cowards, that's all they are. They want to pick on people who they think they can pick on, and it's wrong.
Brent Simonet is white? What?
Here's a man who despite what the history was, what the challenges were to overcome, entered the political scene on invitation of the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram, served in cabinet position in the Bahamas for a number of years, got himself into a spell of trouble when he served as chairman of the Nassau Airport Authority, had to leave office because of some incident, returned again, won his seat, served as deputy prime minister at the second highest level in the country, and the FNM, the Rip Van Winkles of the FNM, wake up in 2016, where they had a white deputy prime minister who was the son of their UBP leader, who was the son of their UBP leader when they left office in 2012, and the Rip Van Winkles in the FNM wake up in 2016, and they just remember there's some white moneyed interests in the FNM who been trying to control the FNM for years, and they don't need them no more. You know something?
Up from the grave.
These are the same FNMs who caused the uproar in their organization in 2000. When these same FNMs said to the organization, don't mind, Mr. Ingram has led us to 2 election victories. It ain't about Mr. Ingram. It is about us and the old FNM. It's about us and our coalition with UBP. We don't need Hubert Ingram. Let's kick him in his ass, get rid of him, and let's get our own FNM leader, and let's run this on our own. Well, they got their own FNM leader.
Child.
They got the beating of their lifetime, and they were happy to go back for Mr. Ingram less than 2.5 years later.
You remember the song? You remember the song?
Yeah.
Tommy T. Tommy T.
You would think they would learn though. You would think. After all that.
And here it is, in 2016.
They back to their old
This
age.
gentleman wakes up. Where he served in a cabinet. Where this man was his deputy prime minister, his deputy leader. He has
probably
been
got money
all over the place. He has been all over the place, touting the UBP arm of the FNM for years. And we wake up this morning and we suddenly being told that something is wrong for political organization to have in its midst. You know something? When the PLP finds white candidates, when white people come to the PLP, you know what the FNM used to do? The FNM used to beat up on those white candidates and say, y'all ain't being true to who y'all are. Y'all supposed to be over here with us. What y'all doing in the PLP? They have always played this evil, nasty race card.
I heard that before.
Speaking of race and everything, right? Isn't Tennyson Wells the guy that owns Lyford Hills, or has something to do with that project?
Yes, he's a very successful realtor. He's very successful in a lot of businesses. We are joined now at the round table by a special guest. Freddie B is going to introduce her. No, we can let her introduce herself. Good morning, darling. How are you? You use one pretty check. They didn't tell me you was as wonderful as this.
She's a pretty chick. She is pretty.
I'd have put on my new yellow shirt if I knew you was coming.
I always bring the pretty girls.
Well, thank you. Good morning, Bahamas. I'm Keandra Gardner. I am the Vice President and Director of Sales for Zaymar Group Companies. We're an audiovisual and production services and management company here in the Bahamas.
Fantastic. It's wonderful to have you with us at the round table. You know, we go through a wide range of social topics every morning. We try to engage as many young people who are involved in business, who are involved in enterprise, who have a history that they want to tell the country about. Because what we try to do on Plain Truth Speaking is to invigorate young people to become involved, to have a voice, and to take a stand. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk about, what's it, Freddie? Things that really grind your gears.
Things that grind your gears.
Family Guy.
And Ms. Gardner is going to be involved in our roundtable discussion. We are going to, for the most part of it, we're going to leave the race card, the Uncle Tormin, the UBP-ism, the white cronyism, whatever it is in the FNM. They could solve their problems on their own.
I don't think they could solve that
It's a
problem.
migraine headache. Good morning, Bahamas. Plain Truth Speaking. EarlThePearl in the house. Tanya B at the table. Freddie B. And we're joined by the beautiful Miss Gardner. We'll be right back after these messages.
And you are my girl. No one can hurt you. No, 'cause I really love you. Oh, come on, baby, hold me. 'Cause I'm the Duke of Earl. Yeah.
From the Tribune News Network, this is Newsbreak. I'm Kirk Smith. Monday's top stories. You're waking up to the first cool snap of the winter season. Strong cold front moved through the area over the weekend, bringing cooler temperatures with it. Highs today won't get out of the 70s, and a couple of fronts coming in later this week will keep the cool air in place for the rest of the week. It's really cool in Florida, bordering on cold. If you have travel plans there this week, you'll want to pack a jacket. High temperatures in Florida will be in the 60s today, and it'll stay cool in Florida for the rest of the week also. The opposition Free National Movement continues to have internal issues. Now Montague MP Richard Lightburn has confirmed for the Tribune that he was accused of being a racist at a recent F&M meeting. And he says he believes the views being expressed because of his criticism of party leader Dr. Hubert Minnis. Dr. Minnis has urged party members to resolve issues internally, but that's not happening. Former F&M cabinet member Tennyson Wells has told the media that he believes the party is divided along racial lines and is reckoning with its history of being dominated by what he called white interests. The country's murder total has jumped to 12 now. The latest is the fatal shooting of a man on John Chipman Street here in the capital over the weekend. The victim identified as 31-year-old Alexander Carey. Police say he was shot following an argument with two men who fled the scene in a white Honda car. Police are still looking for the motive for this, but according to reports, Carey was recently acquitted of the 2011 murder of Ahmed Babs, who was shot while he was on bail for shooting Carey. This is Newsbreak from the Tribune News Network. The man shot and killed early Friday morning here in the capital has been identified now. He's 20-year-old Tion Adley. He was shot from a car while sitting on a wall on Clinton Street. Police say they have no leads in either case at this time. Police busy elsewhere. They're investigating two other shooting incidents here in the capital, which have left victims in hospital. 11 guns were seized in various operations during a 24-hour period, including 9 pistols found stashed in a house in Grand Bahama. 3 persons were arrested there. The other 2 guns found in the capital in separate incidents. Drug agents seized an estimated $4.5 million worth of cocaine found stashed at the Freeport container port. No one arrested. The container was headed for Canada. Escaped prisoner Ormond Leon remains on the loose. Police confirming they have not yet caught up with the convicted murderer who somehow escaped from a prison transport vehicle last week. They're still trying to determine just how that happened. News details in the Tribune newspaper on the streets right now online. News at Tribune242.com. This is Newsbreak from the Tribune News Network. Now the Tribune's IQ weather update, a service of Insurance Management. That frontal system has now cleared the area. Behind it, cool temperatures, partly sunny and cool today. Highs from the mid-60s to mid-70s, 65 at Freeport, 75 in the capital, 76 at Matthewtown. No marine advisories, winds generally 10 to 15 knots, the sea's 2 to 4 feet. There's a high tide now, the next low around 2 this afternoon. Visibility back at 10 miles, water temperature 74 degrees, the UV index in the high range. If you need additional weather information, check the Tribune's weather page. For your insurance needs, call Insurance Management. They are the best. 5 offices around the country make them your most convenient option. Also, nobody does it better than Insurance Management. This is Newsbreak from the Tribune News Network.
Start your morning with the EarlThePearl Show. Plain truth speaking, an opinionated look at national issues.
All we are attempting to do here is to build a case. The country expects a decorum, a modicum of decency when it relates to serious debate in the country on political and national affairs.
It's the EarlThePearl Show, another way of looking at the news and the people that make the news.
The FBI has been working with law enforcement in the Bahamas for the last 100 years. The FBI lab in terms of ammunition, gun, firearms has been used in court cases in the Bahamas for the last 100 years. This is nothing new, sir. Where have you been? What ostrich are you? If you're going to criticize something, criticize it from a position of information that is useful, not to talk nonsense.
Every weekday morning, 7 a.m. until 9, join the EarlThePearl Plain Truth Speaking Show.
And these are the stigmas and the disadvantages that attend to young people. I am an advocate of sorts on the position that we ought not teach young people to hide, to sneak, to have to pretend. We need a society where everything is in the open, it's transparent.
With Erlen Williams, Tanya Brown, and Freddie B. It's newsy. Following the trends and empowering young people is what you didn't expect in the morning and what you would enjoy. The EarlThePearl Show. Every weekday morning, 7 a.m. until 9 on 103.5 FM. The voice of sports in the Bahamas. Sports Radio 103.
Dukeverl, 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 Dukeverl.
As I
Good morning, Bahamas. EarlThePearl in the house, plain truth speaking. The EarlThePearl show. Tanya Brown, my co-host Freddie B, and the wonderful Miss Gardner, all at the round table. I got some tweets, some texts during the break, and there appears to be a major concern in the general Bahamian public as to this allegation, this classification of all these sleeping Uncle Toms, secret confidential Uncle Toms in the F&M. And I think as a bit of friendly public relations marketing advice, I would say to everyone in the country who wants to be an F&M candidate in the next election, everybody who's out there canvassing and knocking on doors, everybody who wants to attend the F&M convention as a delegate, they ought to come forward now and issue their personal disclaimer, full and frank disclosure as to whether they are an Uncle Tom. I expect everybody whose name is associated with the F&M to come forward now. I am not an Uncle Tom. Yes, I am an Uncle Tom. I am not an Uncle Tom. I may be an Uncle Tom. I was almost an Uncle Tom.
Depends on how the women.
I was almost persuaded to be an Uncle Tom.
I don't see
I am an
Doesn't come in my bank
F&M,
account.
but I am not an Uncle Tom. It is very important now for F&Ms across the country
To come out.
to come out of the closet,
Oh no.
Speak about it.
to talk openly
Okay,
about
hold
this,
your peace.
about this malady they seem to
out,
suffer.
F&M.
They're a senior member of their organization. A man who would have been leader says there are Uncle Toms in his organization. Black men and women who are on their knees in front of white people who they see as their lords and masters.
I see.
Can you imagine that? Almost 50 years after majority rule, when Pinland put us on our feet,
They was in this for 40
Uncle
years.
Tom's
though.
in the F&M?
Crazy.
My Lord. Every young candidate in the F&M. The 8 Dr. Minnis named the other day, the 8 he wants to name this week, the 8 he wants to name the week after.
You think Rollins is Uncle Tom?
I know Andre Rollins. Andre Rollins is no Uncle Tom.
You know Uncle Tom.
Andre Rollins is one of the proudest black men I've ever met. He may be many other things, but he's not an Uncle Tom.
What about Don
And-
Wells?
We'll talk about that when the show's over.
Okay.
Good morning, Bahamas. This is Plain Truth speaking. You'll be ahead of the round table with Tanya Brown, Freddie B, and the lovely Miss Gardner from Zamar. Now, what we like to do on the show is to bring young people to wake Bahamas up every morning as to opportunities, involvement, activity, and excitement. These are young people who are not on the boondocks, as they say, with the hand in the bungie, complaining and pointing fingers. They are making things happen in their own zone. They are making life happen for them even every hour of the day. They're not complaining. They're not someplace sitting down waiting for some MP to call to see if they could find something for them to do. They're not someplace walking up and down the street being a nuisance. They are out there
Pushing it through.
being productive and pushing it through.
Yeah.
Tell me, darling, tell us what Zamar does and how your family became involved in the business.
Sure. Zamar is an audiovisual and production services management company. What we do primarily is we go into hotels and other resorts and operate their audiovisual departments. And to do that, we employ right now presently about 50 full-time employees with the company. And we own inventory in everything from lighting to audio to staging to projectors, LED walls, just so that we can facilitate an event happening. So whether it's a small meeting with technical support or a large production, like some of the concerts and things that you see happening around the country, and that happens even when we don't know what's happening in the country.
Let me ask you this, Marcus. I am led to believe, and I'm totally convinced, that this was a business and industry that used to be controlled by foreign interests. This is a business now that a Bahamian company is now fully involved in. Is that the case?
In years past, in terms of operating for hotels, yes. We did have a situation in the country where foreign entities were in the country dominating and operating for the hotel in that capacity. But about 30 years ago, the local market started to get a hold of what was going on. And it started actually with Sedgar Sound Systems back in the day. And my dad got involved in 1985, actually a little before that, when he was the sound engineer for the Love Singers, and decided to make audio reinforcement, starting with that priority for him, and founded Zamar. And then we got into the hotel environment back in 1997 when the Hotel Encouragement Act opened up, and then you started to see more business travel come to the destination for conferences. And then we got full-time into the hotel in 1999 with our first 5-year contract, and we are now into our 4th contract with Atlantis primarily, but we've also been at the Grand Lucayan in Grand Bahama. We were there from 2002 until 2015. We were in the Four Seasons before they departed from Exuma, and so we've been around.
What I like about your energy is that in speaking to your generation, you are waking them up to searching for the potential and the possibilities where there is enterprise, where there is business, and then applying yourselves. Talk to young people this morning in your voice again as to what they need to do to take their hand out of you-know-what and get moving. Get moving.
Well, first of all, I think with young people, you have to find what drives you internally. I know even though I work in the audiovisual and production services field, I don't do tech. I'm good at selling things. I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at client relations, and that's what drives me.
Right.
So
you're good at selling things?
I am.
You could sell Freddie's car?
Yeah.
I've heard some things about your car, Freddie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Like the whole tire situation the other day.
Shoot.
Yeah, I know about
had
those
that.
things.
I had
But
that.
yes,
Freddie's
I
never
can
used his
feel
back
that.
seats.
Are you sure about
He's
that?
never used his back seats. He does everything.
you
in his
sure
front
about
seats.
that? Are
He
you sure
doesn't.
about
Listen, Freddie, when you
So
get
about Zamar.
Yes, honey, just bring it back.
Valentine's Day coming, Valentine's Day coming, dude.
So
Yes.
clearly Freddie's going to spend his Valentine's in his backseat.
Yes.
But anyway, how long have you guys been in the industry?
30 years. We celebrated our 30th anniversary last December.
Wow.
And I've personally been in the business technically all my life, but formally since 2008.
Okay.
So that's how I came into everything.
What do you do exactly in the business?
I work primarily on business development and also sales for the company. So I'm the face of the company right now.
Okay.
I'm the one that goes and meets with all of our clients and potential clients, trying to understand what it is that they are interested in doing, and then translating that to our team so that we can make it happen for our clients. So whether or not that is a hotel client, whether or not that is a local promoter who's trying to host an event, or a company just looking for services for a meeting, we work with them, or I work with them along with my team to develop the strategies to make their event happen.
So I know a lot of young people that actually have like family businesses, but don't really want to get involved. What drove you to actually want to stay a part of the family business?
Well, I would go back before I answer that. I didn't initially want to be in the family business, and I know that will probably break my parents' heart, but initially that was not my intention. My intention was, once I was done with my accounting degree, I was going to work for an accounting firm, and I was going to do what I was good at. And in 2008, some of the opportunities that I was going after didn't work out exactly how I thought it would have. And I came home trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and just took a part-time position with the company. And then I moved into full-time, and it just grew on me. But I was always around my parents doing business. My mom is an accountant, so I was trying to be like my mom. But then it circled back to me just being able to speak, communicate, deal with persons. And so it was just a natural fit. And staying within the company became more of me just enjoying what it is that I do, aside from it just being a family business.
Tanya, she is delightful.
She is delightful.
Have you told her that I'm single and this is the last month on my car payment?
Oh wow.
May I just say she's like she's taken.
Yeah, she doesn't look single.
What's the plan for Valentine's Day?
You know, my significant other likes surprises, and he has this thing that I'm the hardest person to surprise. So I don't know what the plans are for Valentine's Day, but I know the day before Valentine's Day is my date night, and I have to plan the activities surrounding that. So
What is date night?
Yeah,
What is date
that?
night?
Date night is the time where we don't talk about the business of the relationship in terms of what's going on, what's upcoming, what plans you have, but just taking that time to enjoy the person that you're with. So whether or not that is just being home, chilling, just having a bamboo
Enjoy.
shack and watching a movie.
Netflix and
Yes.
chill.
Netflix and chill. We know what Netflix and chill is all about. Bahamas.
Whether it's going bowling, whether it is going out to try a new restaurant, or just going around with some family and friends and just having a good time, having a drink, just spending that quality time.
You look like a
together.
wine person. You like the sweet one. You like the oak flavor. You like the burgundy flavor. You like the
Why do you
pinot
feel like
noir.
you
you
like
like the
wine?
white.
I
You
was
like
just
the
about to
Grecian.
say
You
that.
just look like a wine person.
When you said wine person, Tanya started shaking up.
Oh.
Tanya, you wanna talk about it?
You're not braless today, right, Tanya?
No.
Tanya's still Tanya's trying to get over her weekend.
No, I mean, I like some wine, but I prefer to have something a little bit more
Stronger.
Yes.
Oh, you're a
She's
whiskey
a
gal.
she's a cognac
whiskey
kind
gal.
of girl. She's
Yeah.
a
You're a Hennessy
girl.
girl. You're a Hennessy girl.
But you know, a little
Annie and
wine
Red Bull.
a little
I
alcohol
got
never
you.
hurt
Oh, you used to
anybody.
turn up tight.
Yeah, I
I
should
see
turn
why
up
you
tight.
be so excited.
Every now and again, you have to turn up. It makes life exciting. You can't be boring all the time and just
She's a
drink
Henny
wine.
girl.
She's a Hennessy kind of girl.
Things that grind our gears. Things that grind our gears. And I get the first go at this. Do I?
Oh, I get the second go.
Do I get the first go
Well,
at
let's
this?
go
Go
sit
ahead,
around the
go ahead,
table.
go
I'll
ahead,
be the
go ahead.
last. Sure.
Are you? Can I say this on radio?
No.
But we don't know.
I
Write it down first.
people who pick their nose and then the finger goes straight to their mouth.
Oh.
How could something you do grind your own gears?
Oh, no, you're silent. Okay, my
It is-
time.
It has never happened, and if it did happen, it happened once.
It happens every day at Starbucks, ladies and gentlemen.
Every day.
Every day.
Starbucks Cable Cottage at 12 noon. You can come there and watch him
Pick his nose and eat it.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what grinds my gears? Ladies and listen, oh my goodness gracious. Please learn to drive on the roundabout. Please. Like
Miss Gardner, what grinds your gears?
But we have to talk about the roundabout because that's really important.
Nobody knows what to use a
So-
roundabout.
The rules don't matter with the roundabout,
No.
apparently, particularly in Nassau.
Goodness
But
gracious.
what grinds my gears is seeing the ladies with the bad bodies wearing the very skin tight dresses as if they have shape. That really gets under my skin.
I don't know if, as a booger eater, I'm qualified to join the conversation. I don't think being a booger eater stops me from saying that that's a very ugly sight.
It is,
and I've seen
and particularly with the big belly.
no,
With the four stomachs?
no.
Firstly, I don't like how y'all talking about me in front of my face, okay?
Honesty, babe.
With the
honesty.
3 kilo camel foot.
Oh my Lord.
That is the most disgusting sight. I mean, they have things now to shape the body. Now,
Right.
if you wear one of those and it still does nothing for you in that dress, you should not wear that dress.
I agree.
No, you're shaped.
I agree.
I call it armor. Like you gotta just tuck some things down, you know what I mean?
Tuck in your side. That's what the regular song said a couple
You know
years
what
ago.
really grinds my gears?
What?
When I see people, and you know, I'm a pretty bougie gal, and so when I go to different places,
That's a matter of opinion.
anyways,
And self-praise is no recommendation.
whatever. You
You're
guys
going
call
to
me
pay a
bougie all
fair
the time.
price for calling me a booger eater on air.
When I see people that I know aren't able to afford some things, doing some, like, okay, for example, when we go to Aura, and I know you just got paid, so people go to Aura 2 times in the month, payday and the weekend thereafter, right? So you can spend half your paycheck on a bottle.
Wow.
Or the vast majority of it on a bottle.
Ugh.
And then you in the club,
That's sad.
shaking up the bottle, throwing it on the floor.
And on ramen noodles the next day.
And eating ramen noodles the next day.
For lunch?
And then you can send me a text like,
and what's wrong with ramen noodles?
high in sodium, zero nutritional value. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So,
All I know is on a cold, windy Friday, when you don't want to get out of the house, and you have those super family pack boxes of ramen noodles, and you could shake 2 of them in the pot and put them in the microwave, and you close your eyes and you imagine you in a 5-star restaurant, and
A
you're
Chinese
having-
restaurant.
and you're having fettuccine à la vo. And you just go to town on your ramen
good
noodles.
for the goose, ain't
ain't
good for the
gander.
gander.
Chain emails, guys, my guys. Like, people would send you something and say, Jesus say you're going to be saved. Send it to somebody else. And that stupid idiot is going to send it to me. And then I'm going to just block you off Facebook. Let me tell you now, Avis, I'm going to block you.
Oh, wow.
I have no difficulty. I have no difficulty with the chain emails. I just skip through them. But I hate those persons who finally decide that they're going to cook something for themselves on Sunday,
And post it on
and they're
Facebook.
going to take a picture of their plate of food
Make you jealous, right?
and send it around the world as if
Ooh,
on
I'm supposed to
Facebook.
send you
On
my
Facebook.
Super Bowl
fried
plate.
chicken and their macaroni.
I'm
and
sending
their
you my
Super
Super Bowl plate right now.
No.
It's some topic of interest. I don't care what your mama cooked for your Sunday dinner. I don't care if you had lobster for the first time for the month. I really don't care if you had 3 meats and a seafood for your Sunday dinner. It doesn't make a difference to me. It's your food. Eat it and do whatever happens after one has had a good meal. Go to the next room in the house. But it's not.
It's not for everybody to see.
No.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And please, Bahamians, stop posting your family life story on Facebook. I don't need to know if you wake up in the morning. I don't need to know what happened in your workplace. I don't need
not
to
a
know.
celebrity.
I don't need to know these things, though.
Ooh, lovely.
Like people
Exactly.
post,
Sure,
thank
oh,
you.
nice food. Who cooks peas and rice for Super Bowl, though?
My
That's
family.
ridic-
The Johnson family.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh, Johnson. I love
You cook.
Johnson.
You cook.
Oh, Jesus.
I have a big one. We're gonna be back right after this break.
The Miller family is in trouble.
This is Plain Folk speaking. You're on the air with Earl the Pearl, and we were talking about Johnson's, peas and rice, big ones, small ones, heavy roads, outboards, backboards. Good morning, Bahamas.
As I wander through this world, nothing can stop Duke Bell. And you are my girl. No one can hurt you. No, 'cause
Sports Radio 103.
Invites you to turn your radio up.
Every morning to the one fun place on the dial. 103.5 FM. With the sports guy, Marcellus Hall, chatting it up with sports fans from all over the island.
I got a call coming in. Let's go right to the live line. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Marcellus. Hey, morning, Marcellus. Morning, Marcellus. How you doing? Good morning to everybody this morning. Mr. Marcellus.
Good morning, Marcellus. Nice to good morning.
I got another call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Finally, Marcellus.
There's nothing like the armchair quarterback or the coach in the stands. Measuring wit with Marcellus Hall every morning.
What's wrong with these Dolphin fans? They can't face reality.
How can I wear this trick you? I can't trick you.
For a real fun time in the morning without all the stress of life.
You heard that? That was a pin.
That was a pin drop. I can hear the
Join Marcellus Hall, the sports guy.
This is when you'll know if you really got a team, because now you're facing adversity for the first time.
Sports talk.
Whatever they want to. LeGarrette Blunt, 17 carries, 72 yards.
Score.
Big thing last night, 112 to 103.
Opinions and more. Marcellus Hall, the voice of sports in the Bahamas.
The best station right now in the Bahamas, the most famous station in the Bahamas, man.
Here on Sports Radio 103, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every weekday. CSR 103.5 FM. Saturdays, Coach Lorenzo Bullard.
When we free our kids from this hostage of the government, we got to prepare them for what's out there.
Yeah.
And that's what we're not doing. And the ones who slip through the crack, they are special.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like Debbie Ferguson's and all those.
Yeah, the ones that, I always say the ones that succeed.
Special.
His thoughts, reflections, ideas, and point of view on the show, The Power Within You.
We should be the training mecca of the side of the world. We should have people coming from all over the world coming here to train. You know, but are we putting these things in place? No, we're not. And if we're taking the monies that we're spending and doing other things with it, if we were to put it into our youth, man, you will see something that we've never seen before in this country.
Join Coach Bullitt for The Power Within You right here on Sports Radio 103.
I'm looking forward to it. So it's going to come on right after Nahaja, which Nahaja is on from until 3. Coming in 1 until 3, so you're going to be on 3 o'clock until 5. Yeah. Okay, great.
The voice of sports in the Bahamas. Sports Radio 103.
Duke, 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 Duke-a-vel, 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 Duke, Duke.
Good morning, Bahamas. Plain Truth speaking here. And the question of the morning is, who are these Uncle Toms in the FNM? Where are they linking? Where are they hiding? Fenton Nima! Are you an Uncle Tom?
I thought Fenton was a
Darren Cash! Are you an Uncle Tom? Kenya!
No?
The country needs to know. FNMs are reeling in shock this morning. They've been told by a senior member of their organization that the party is rocking, filled to the capacity of an Uncle Tom's. Now you have to understand colloquially and historically what is an Uncle Tom. At the turn of the 19th century, a wonderful author, Harriet Beecher Stowe, wrote a book called Uncle Tom's Cabin. Now, the irony in Uncle Tom's Cabin is that it really is a novel that was written in opposition to slavery and was meant to bring America's attention to the evils of slavery. And one of the characters in the book, the main character of the novel, Uncle Tom was the exactly as we've been told, he was the black slave who had learned that he'd been conditioned to believe that white people demanded a certain respect, white people were better than him, white people were deserving of certain things. And he played along with the game. Everything was yes, sir, boss, yes, sir, master. And so it became a part of the pop culture. Wherever black people turned up, the Clarence Thomases of this world, the ass kissers, we knew them as Uncle Toms. And it is derogatory in a sense. It is unfair in a sense. Because when you bring that classification to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, where we are a different breed of people, where, in the words of Algernon Allen, we've been moving towards one Bahamas. And yes, we've had our difficult days. We've had our dark days. But one of the things that Pinnan in his 25-year reign did, his 25-year democratically elected rule did, was to bridge the gap, to level the playing field, and bring all sides to the table. All sides, red, white, black, green, tall, short, straight, crooked. We made everything possible on a level playing field. And to wake up in 2016 on February 8th, and a senior member of the FNM, a man who would be leader, is saying that the problem in his organization, the problem Dr. Binnis faces, is that all these Uncle Toms and these racists have come out of the woodwork.
Why now, though, Earl? Why now? Why now?
That is a question we're going to have to deal with after the Lenten period, because I don't think the country is going to be too caught up in us wanting to get
You know what really grinds my gears?
I need to know why now.
We're in a modern society. Who cares if white or black people fund your political campaign?
Yeah.
Like, really, what? The only thing that you had to talk about this morning is that, some white people funding the FNM.
Well,
my gosh, someone just got shot in Pinewood. You know, shouldn't you be addressing other things? Like, there are so much more important things that are happening right now. Talk about Children's Bay. Talk about things that are happening
Clifton.
in Albany. Talk about how
Clifton Heritage.
how wonderful Clifton Heritage is. You know,
Yeah.
talk about how
Issues that facing the country. F&Ms. Talk about issues that facing the
talk
country.
about how the Panthers got their behinds whooped last night.
Talk about
but
that.
do not come here and talk about how some white people or some black
They're
people.
racist now after
Tanya,
40 years.
Tanya, if I was going to apply the logic of this FNF spokesman to your statement on the Panthers getting beat last night, I would say to you, you are an Uncle Tom. Why are you here promoting this morning this white man, Tom Brady, beating up on that black quarterback? See, he's how ridiculous it
Tom Brady is New England Patriots. Peyton
Manning. Listen, Peyton won his 200th game. It's not me, Uncle Tomming. It's me.
2-time Super Bowl.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Not two.
Two.
Got excited there.
Come on, I'm a football fan. You should know that. I'm a quarterback.
2-time Super Bowl win.
No.
5-time Super Bowl.
With different teams. With different teams.
Okay. Yeah.
With different teams, yeah.
2-time winner. But this is the 5th time he's made it to the Super Bowl, correct?
Four.
Okay.
4-time making it.
And so you're saying, but two races. Peyton Manning, the white quarterback, beating.
And listen, the entire time I was totally like for that Newton guy, Cam Newton. Firstly, he's 6'5". He's hot.
6'7".
6'7".
250. He's a giant.
He is a giant. Like, listen, that whole time he was running up and down and getting thrown down. I was like, woof. Woo. And the
but
more
Tanya, everybody hot to you.
No, not
even
everybody.
me.
No, you're not hot to me.
Come on.
Especially not Earl.
You know,
his Pearl talk though.
The Duke is not hot.
But listen,
you know,
I feel like Cam Newton really had a huge fight in front of him, and he just could not deal. He let the situation frustrate him, and everyone could see how he was becoming LeBron James.
Broncos defense was like lightning.
He was becoming a LeBron James on that field last night.
But I think it had to do with maturity.
Yeah.
In terms of his mental maturity. In his career thus far, he's not had an opportunity to get to this stage.
Exposure.
Last year was a building year for the Panthers. They did okay, but it wasn't to the point where the team got to the level that they got to this year. And I don't think he was able to correlate, this is the big game to this is not just another game, and that really led to
it's so sexy. It is so sexy to hear females talk about football.
Is it weird that I think that last night's game will reflect the 2017 election?
I'm trying to figure out why I said Tom Brady.
Who's Tom Brady again? Why are we on Tom Brady?
You know what?
Is that not the Patriots?
No,
he's a Patriot fan. That's why.
It's my fascination with the Brady family.
Okay.
I just love the Brady bunch. I go
every day.
Every day.
I have had this fascination with the Brady bunch all my life.
Every day.
Especially the little one with the curls.
Okay.
You remember Cindy?
Yeah.
Wow. So what? You guys are not Brady bunch aficionados?
Well, no, because they had
of a man named Brady.
They had